What's up, bro? So
Yeah,
I
man.
got you today.
I'm here, man. I'm here.
For real, I got you today.
Yeah.
Cause we got
Yeah, who you got today
veteran
anyway?
creator Corissa Grant on the show, and she
Oh,
turned her
that's
novel
dope.
into a graphic novel for the first time, or a couple times. I don't think.
What you mean?
She got really a good bit of things out right now.
What you mean about wordy though? Wordy
I
sounds
think Wordy
familiar.
Chaos. I think
don't
the name
know.
of it. Wordy. You know, like Knights being wordy, coming to Sword Art Stone.
Yeah, bro. I you know me and the Knights, man. That night
You still
messed
own
me
that
up.
Knight
I'm
thing,
still
man?
jacked up from it, but
Come
bro.
on, bro. It's just an
I
ending,
know,
bro.
but it's just shell shock, bro. It's just shell shock value,
Right,
bro. I just can't.
You're so scary, man. I hold down like I do always.
Welcome back to the hood. Welcome back to Chill in the Green Box with Specks, Thompson, and The View. And once again, my co-host is not here. He just heard the term wordy calls, and he got a thing with Knights, and he got spooked once again, and then want to show up for the show. But thank you for being on. Even though he's not here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, for the folks who don't know who you is, tell people a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Corissa Grant. I have the Worthy Chaos comics. And one of our series, Redemption, is live on Kickstarter. And I wrote 45 issues with a co-writer for fun while we were role-playing for a couple years, 2 years.
Okay.
So we just passed 1 million words in the story like last week.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that's just that one issue?
Well, it's so each we have 11 we wrote 11 novels within 2 years, and 5 of those novels is this series, Redemption.
Okay. All right, cool.
So it's about 45 issues.
All right. Well, this show, is formulated of like icebreaker questions, so people get to know more about you and just about your project, whatever, so they feel more compelled to support you on all the things you do, and just not just one thing. So I'm not sure, but are you familiar with the green electrical boxes in front of neighborhoods? I don't know what part of the region you're in.
I'm in Tennessee.
So you might have like you're like on the side of the street, it's like this green box.
Yep.
Yeah. So well, when I grew up, we used to hang out on those. Just talk to your friends, chill, and do whatnot.
Yeah.
Just talking with other guests, I realized why we chilled on those, because typically they'll be the bus stops, for the kids. So we just accustomed to going to it for the bus anyway. After school, weekends we'd be there, hanging out. So
Nice.
This show is basically that, just hanging out, talking, breaking stuff down. Which is
Cool.
my first segment is breaking it down. Which on this one we'll break your brain down with some icebreaker questions, so the people know a little bit more about you. All right. So my first question for you is, when you're not at work, what is your passions?
Definitely writing.
Writing. Okay.
I've been writing for about 17 years. I started I don't know if you know Resident Evil at all, but I role played as Claire Redfield from Resident Evil for 15 years. And I'm dyslexic, so I started as a one-liner and kind of built up, and now I can do like 6,000 words in one sitting.
Okay. That's that's good, because I'm writing a novel, a light novel myself, and
Nice.
and I mean, I wrote essays, in college or whatever, so I put some fluff in there, but just to get the page, the number count of the words, and I didn't think it would be that stressful. You ain't too much, too little, you're going over. So yeah, I definitely know about that word count. All right, next question. What is the best cake you ever eaten?
Well, I don't like a lot of cake, so my favorite would be ice cream cake.
Ice cream cake, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you have Carvel where you are. It's
Yes.
Carvel is big.
Yes,
Okay.
the white and blue, the white and blue thing.
Yeah. So they don't have it here in Tennessee, but when I used to live in New York, and Carvel was everywhere, and we were just talking about it today because it's my brother's birthday today, and everything's always Carvel ice cream cake. So
yeah, we have one. We only had one here for maybe 10 years, and I don't think it's any close nearby at all. Maybe Atlanta,
Yeah.
but I doubt Atlanta. But
I think I used to, because when I was in Atlanta, I had looked for it and it said there was one, and then there wasn't. So I think
oh,
they're
okay.
like closing down. But I
Oh,
love that ice cream, so it kind of sucks.
yeah. So down here would be more of like a Baskin Robbins or a Dairy
Yeah, that's
Queen.
too.
A Dairy Queen,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we have both. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. When you're packing for a trip, what is one thing besides clothing and hygiene and stuff that you guarantee you're gonna pack in that bag?
So I have a stuffed dog that I've had for 39 years, which is longer than my husband's been alive. So I always take it wherever I go. So it's been a joke in my family that I'll have that thing in my coffin. So so probably, yeah.
Is it an actual like stuffed animal or is it actually a stuffed dog?
It's a stuffed animal toy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be a little creepier. Yeah. Yeah, no. It's just a little stuffed it looks like a pound puppy, if you know what that is, but they're not pound puppies, but
Okay.
yeah, big. I love that thing. So
All right. So that was an easy, first icebreaker segment breaking it down. Next we go to the next segment. Being in comics and whatnot or novels, just in the fathom, I guess. What back issues are. So this is for people who don't know what back issues are. Let's say if you want to know who Reverse Flash is, you go into the back issues to find out about his origin story. So in this segment, we're gonna find out about your origin story.
okay.
All right. Where are you from and what do you call your hood?
So I am originally from Long Island, New York. Um, and I lived there till I was 8, and then I moved to Connecticut. And 8 years ago, I moved to Tennessee, which was quite a culture shock from New York.
Yeah.
But yeah, I live near Nashville, and
Oh yeah, big change.
yeah, it's a little bit of a change. I like it because there's no snow. I don't
Mhm.
miss snow at all. Um, but yeah, I do like it here. But I do miss growing up in New York because everyone was so close together, so like you would know everybody, and here the houses are a little bit further apart. But yeah, so
Okay.
yeah.
Do you listen to music?
Um, sometimes not. I don't have any particular bands that I listen to. Um, so I wouldn't say I don't have any favorites. From when I was a teenager, I used to listen to like Nine Inch Nails and stuff.
Uh,
But
so what
now
what got you in that? Like what got you intrigued in the Nine Inch Nails or that genre?
I don't remember. I know I used to listen to The Cure because of The Crow. I don't know if Nine Inch Nails was in that soundtrack too, but whatever it was, I listened to like all their albums, and it's been a while though. Like I don't ever buy music anymore. Whatever's on the radio,
Yeah.
as long as it's not too twangy. But don't tell anyone
Yeah.
that, since I'm in Tennessee. But yeah.
Okay. Now, um, what comic related TV show or comics or novels got you into doing what you do, writing?
So originally my comics choice was the Ghost Rider. I loved Ghost Rider. Um, but it's actually Resident Evil, the game, that got me into writing about comics.
The original?
Yeah, the original is, yeah, Resident Evil 2, the original. I know they made a remake. I haven't played it yet because 2 was the first game I ever played besides Atari because I'm old. But nothing beats the original, so.
Okay. So
Yeah.
have you played all what 8 of them?
No, I haven't bought any new systems. I bought let's see, Resident Evil 2 is my first one, so I had 2, 1, 3, 4 was awesome. I think 5 was my last one. So
Oh, see,
yeah.
4. I believe I played 2, but I'm probably too young to really play it. But
Yeah.
4 was when I first got into the series.
4 is the best. Yeah.
I can't remember. Was it the movies first? Then I played 4, or how it went. But I played 5, 6. I think the last one is when like Chris. So it's 5. Last one I played is 5. I think new one's 7. It's when Chris had to fight Winsler and he like threw the missile and he got superpowers. I was like, what's going on here? But
I heard 6 was awesome, and this is gonna sound really stupid. I actually bought the game and I never even opened it, so I have it somewhere unopened. Yeah.
Yeah, they said Leon definitely changed once he saved Claire in 4, so he definitely like a whole different dude in 6.
Yeah, he definitely changed. He was such a he was kind of a little bit of a wuss in 2,
But his first day on job.
His first day on the job, yeah, he's a rookie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he changed a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So my next question. When did you realize that you was a nerd?
Nerd. Let me think. I think in high school when I got into anime, I was heavy into all the nerds liked me, so I just became a nerd and hung out with them. We watched anime, we played video games, all that fun stuff, and I was super popular because I was I was the only girl they knew, so they dragged me everywhere. So
since you have to be older than I am, what anime was you into? Like, because that time frame I think is pretty slim, but talking to guests, people knew about anime. So which ones were you on?
So my very first anime of all time was Lotus War, which is like a Dungeons and Dragons. But my favorite was Inuyasha, which is still around today. There's like, we're actually watching it over again because my husband's never seen it.
Oh, the daughters, yeah.
Yeah. So Inuyasha, you probably haven't heard of any of the other ones I used to. But yeah, I used to. I'm so old that they didn't have them in stores, and I had to go to New York City to get them from bootleg shops and Japanese stores that don't speak any English. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yes, when I started, it was YouTube. We had to find part 1, part 2 on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Besides that, with Toonami and what is Sci-Fi Channel? FX.
Oh yeah, probably.
One of them channels. Yeah. So, but you saw, I guess, the kiddie ones on Toonami, then other ones like Aeon Flux and Ghost and Shields on the other channel.
Yeah. Some of them are pretty violent.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's in that segment. On to the next one is we call the hotkeys, and which is a double meaning term. In a comics, hotkeys are key issues when a new character get introduced, or a new artist, or a new writer get on the project, or nowadays the story arc becomes a TV show or a movie. You want to grab that, and that's worth money. But in turn, in music, hotkeys are buttons on a turntable for DJs where they can play music at a certain point of the time during the party or event. So if it's somebody's birthday, whatever, they got a birthday song queued up at the right time when they give you the signal, or or wedding ceremony and whatnot. So these are questions that you want people to know about you in general, and take this from the interview. So make it the hotkeys of this interview. So with that being said, you said you was role playing. So with that being said, was that tabletop or like LARPing?
So it's like LARPing, but I'm writing what I'm doing. So it's kind of like tabletop without the table. So I will write a chapter of whatever we're doing, and I would send it to my co-writer, and then they would write back what they did during that time, and then they would continue it, and so on. So it's all writing, but there's no like really cool figures that you can play with.
Okay. And you're a writer, right? So I have it here. You say you wrote 45 issues.
Yep.
So how many things have you wrote in general? to this point, I guess.
So I wrote these 5 books, so that's 45 issues, and then I have a spin-off for it that I wrote another 5 books, and that's 45 issues. And then I wrote 1 book in the prequel, and then I have written half a book in both series 2s. So approximately total 11 and a half novels, and they're not short novels. They're like 90,000 to 130,000 words.
Okay. When you say issues, do you mean comics or does it mean your chapters?
So when I convert them, I convert what we write into novel. When I convert what we wrote in the novels into scripts for the issues. So one novel, depending, is generally one novel was 7 issues for this book 1. Book 2 is 7 issues, and book 3 was longer, so it's 10 issues.
Now, do you find it easier to do that method?
Yeah, because one of the things people like about ours is that the dialogue is written very well, because they say dialogue is very hard for a comic book, but when you write it in a novel, you just write without thinking about what fits in the box and what's whatever, so it flows way easier than it would for a comic book. But we also didn't plan it. Like, it wasn't like we wrote this and said, oh, let's do a comic book. We wrote 11 novels and then it was like, oh, maybe we should do something with it, and then we made it into a comic book.
Oh, since you wrote it in novel form, does it make it better for the artist to draw the scene better, since you wrote more detail inside the book?
Yeah, I think so. Everything's laid out how you would see it or what you do, and some things you have to be really careful of, because in a novel, when you need something, you just write it in. But when a comic book, you have to remember to, like, if there's something on the table, you have to remember to write it like pages before. So that could be a little tricky, but yeah, it helps that the details all there, and it makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Okay. And just give us a brief, I guess, breakdown of your story.
Okay, so a pitch meeting for it would be that it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural in Silent Hill in the Resident Evil world. It follows Seraphina, who's an angel descendant, and Draven, which is a demon descendant, and they're both soulmates, and they're on the run. They're on a survival. They're trying to survive against their fathers. That his father's a demon and hers is an angel. And they're going after them because she was created from an angelic weapon that holds the power of souls. And if they can get it from her, then they can tip the scale of heaven or hell in their favor during the war. So they kind of want this weapon so they can win the war of heaven and hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say, like, what age group is for your books?
So it's tricky because there's no nudity, but there's a lot of cursing and gore. So far, when we're at conventions or at a book signing, we have parents say, what's the rating for this? And I said, well, they swear a lot and there's a lot of gore. And they're like, yeah, but is there nudity? And I say no, and then they buy it for like their 10-year-old. So I guess nobody cares unless there's nudity in it. So I would say rated R, but some of the parents buy it anyway for their kids. So
yeah, I have the same thing. My book as well. Not the same thing you got going on, but the same thing. I don't know how to find my age range. So I basically tell people that if they watching what's on Disney Plus right now or anime, it's for them, because it has a little bit of cuss in it and it's kind of violent, but it's not all the way there. But I have came into one problem though. One of my friends at work, well, he left job now, but he was interested in my book. He bought it, whatever, to give his kid, and he read it. He's like, I don't know, my kid ready for this, but he was reading it. But his wife seen it and got mad he was reading it because I haven't explained what they are, but my villains in my story look like demons. And she thought they was demons. And she was like, why are you reading that? We're a Christian household, blah, blah, and got mad about it. And I was like, wow, I didn't think I was going to run to that issue because,
demons are in Christianity. So
yeah,
I don't know what problem is. I have demons and angels and hellhounds and Anubis and zombies, ghosts, everything. But demons are in mythology. They are in the Christian. They are in the Bible and all that stuff. So I haven't been asked that yet.
Yeah,
Because that's weird.
yeah, I got hit with that one out, and then what made me want to branch off and do other things. Well, had the concepts already, but one of the things were make more children or younger kids stuff, like maybe just keeping my universe type stuff, and just branch on that same concept. You know, I was at a local event, you know, and two parents, maybe a parent and a teacher, came and do have anything with young kids because they're trying to get young kids to learn how to read. Just bringing that up because you said something about dyslexia earlier.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Was comics or books harder for you growing up to read because of that?
So, a little bit because I can read fast, but one thing about the dyslexia is you kind of read it, but you don't grasp some of the things you read. So I'd have to go back and maybe read like a para over again or a page over again. So I also failed spelling a lot and word problems and math a lot. So, but they didn't know I was dyslexic until I was older.
So
So.
would it have been better for you, let's say, because this is a concept I had, the same textbook you had in school, if you had like a comic form of that, would it have been better for you to
Yeah.
learn? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would have. It probably would have helped a lot. Because I didn't get into comics until I was probably in high school or later. But if I had it as a kid, I probably would have done a lot better. Yeah.
Like one of my Facebook friends, he has an artistic son, and
My nephew.
he and he's a comic book creator, you know, and
Mhm.
his son is into the comics. So like I guess books like regular, I guess Bernstein Bears or whatever don't grasp his attention, but the way uh, the comic is structured grasps
Yeah.
attention. Like I guess how the bubbles and work at different spots
Probably
like
helps
that.
that it's brighter too.
Yeah. So
Sometimes that helps.
think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like how comics can help the learning, you know,
Yeah.
with children.
I never thought of that. Yeah, you're right.
Mhm. All right. Well, going back to your books,
Mhm.
when you had the conventions, what do people gravitate more to, the novels or the issues?
It's a lot easier to sell the issues because of the art sells the story.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely the art. They like to buy the prints and stickers and stuff. So definitely the comics are more the thing. Yeah.
Do you have anything on Amazon?
No, but I'm thinking of doing it in November because I'm gonna have the graphic novel come out. So I'm gonna probably have that put into Amazon.
Okay, I
It's
was going.
222 pages.
Yeah, see, I was gonna ask you about how is the novel doing on Amazon? You know, since the Audible and people like to read books read
Oh,
to them.
we never actually released the novels. We just
Oh,
we just wrote them for fun, and we wrote them in RP format, which means every other chapter is written by somebody else. So we were trying to see if we could release it, and the editor said that we would have to merge the story, and we didn't want to kind of destroy the story, so it worked out perfect in comic books. So
when you say merge a story, what do you mean?
because I'll write a chapter and my co-writer will write the same chapter again, but in the eyes of her character. So for our story, the two main characters are written by two completely different people. So for Serafina, I write all of her thoughts and actions and speech, and my co-writer writes everything for Draven. So when I write a chapter, she goes back and writes the whole chapter again, but in his view, like what he saw, what he was thinking, what he said when she says whatever, or any speech or anything. So you're kind of reading the same chapter twice is what you're doing. And they said that people would find that weird or distracting or whatever, and we didn't want to ruin the story. So
I mean, I see you got two posters behind you. So in one
yeah.
book, is it her point of view, and the other book is his point of view, or in the same book is like that?
The same book is both their point of views, but each chapter is doubled. So like I will send her, let's say, 6,000 words about them fighting vampires or whatever, and then my character will talk to her character, and then she'll go back. My co-writer will go and write from the other character's point of view and will answer whatever my character says.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
mean,
it's confusing.
I don't read. I don't. Well, not that way. Well, maybe one book or two, but specifically, I mean, growing up, it was a series called was it Aliens Fried My Brains or something? I don't remember.
I
But
never heard of that.
I remember saying it wrong, but it was like a series of different books about these aliens. And the first book had, the main character. The next book may have been the friend, and the third book was the bully. But then in the fourth book and whatever, it was all of them together. But it was all around the same events, but like the dates was kind of like pushed back,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I remember that in middle school, high school when I read those books. But like nowadays, it's a series called Magical Index and the Scientific Tool. They're mangas, also they're animes now. But
Yeah.
that's just like your book. There's a girl and a guy and different point of views. Hence the title is
Hey.
one Scientific Tool, one is a Magical Index.
That's pretty cool.
So I don't see no problem with the way you're doing it. People won't have people reading it now,
Yeah.
But maybe if it was separate books, maybe. But either way, if it's people know it's a different character. One way that it would confuse people if it was a TV show.
Yeah.
What was the name of that show? It was a Marvel show, The Runaways. I stopped watching Runaways because of that. Because I think the first 3 episodes was the same episode 3 different ways. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. See, that would be kind of annoying and redundant. I've seen that in a show before. Now that you mentioned it, where it would go back and play the same scenario, but through the other person's eyes. But yeah, but didn't you get bored? You get seeing the same thing over and over again.
It's no but reading reading will be different, But just see that because reading then you get their words and use imagination and the only
and
see
TV
things.
It's kind of boring. Yeah,
you see things. It's just a different angle,
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah.
So why do y'all choose to write that way?
Because that's how you role play. Like each person has one character, and you have a page with all the stats of your character. And then that's just how you're pretending you're that character. So when you write it to the other person. So it's always between 2 people. Sometimes it's between more, but I've never done that because it can get confusing if you have too many characters, like too many people writing. It just gets redundant and tiring, I think. So.
Oh, it how'd y'all keep the continuity in between that since 2 people writing, 2 different things? Well, same thing, 2 different ways. How'd y'all keep everything being linear?
I always wrote first, so I'd kind of lead the story, and then my co-writer will go back and just write the same thing over again. So I'm the one that kept the pace, I guess. So it was just me writing, and then she's pretty much writing the reaction of the character to whatever I wrote. So, and then I will continue when I get the reply back. When I get the chapter back from her, I would start writing again. So continue on where it left off.
And heard you mention you have an editor. So is your editor part of both books or just the comic portion?
Just the comic portion.
Okay. So when they do doing the editing process, do they look back into the novels to see like how it, I guess, transferred?
No, they just read the scripts that I write.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I've been every book. I guess I've been getting better and better with my editor. And I talked to this one guy. He said it's good to have somebody through the whole project. So they keep everything linear, like I asked you about before. So I was just wondering, like, how in depth does your editor go? You know, are they all in?
Yeah, not too much. Pretty much they read what I write and they'll fix like commas or whatever. Or sometimes I write really long sentences, so the editor will cut them in half or something simple like that, but no real big rewriting or anything.
Do you have any like tips for writers to get the page count, their word count up? To
Um, well, I'm a little unorthodox because I just sit down and write. But I have heard that it helps to write outlines or write ideas down. Generally, if I get an idea out of any, like I'll just be out at work and I'll get an idea. So I always write stuff down right away if I get an idea, or I'll write it to my co-writer and do that. But pretty much anything can spark. Like 2 weeks ago, I had a dream and I was like, this would be perfect for like the ending of one of the books. And I went and wrote 15,000 words. So, but it was all from just a simple dream, but it fit so perfectly. So, you can get your ideas from anywhere. I know a lot of people say that they get, what is it, writer's block. But I just sit down and write. I don't think too hard about it. I just sit down and write and then see how it sounds later.
what would you compare your writing style or your story style to? I know you mentioned some things earlier, but if you had to pick like, oh, this if you enjoy the flow of these stories, you enjoy your book.
So I'm more of a storyteller than like a novelist. So my writing is uh action packed because I don't write boring things very well.
Mhm.
So I write a lot of action, but I don't do a lot of there's like fancy ways to write, like the show don't tell stuff, and that's how you're supposed to write. But it hurt my brain too much, so I just write freestyle, and I write at my own pace, and yeah, I don't think too hard when I write.
Okay, okay. Um, you also mentioned before people like your dialogue in your books.
Hmm.
So, how did you develop your skill in making good dialogue? Because, like you said, most people that's a challenge.
Well, I just write how people talk. I don't really think about it. I just write like I'm the character and I'm talking. And I never thought it was a difficult thing. I think a lot of the times it's harder for comic book people because they try to fit it in, like they have to write short or they have to write in a certain, you're only supposed to have two sentences, so it can become choppy or not fitting or sound off. But if you write it like a novel first, and then you can get your whole thought and your whole speech out, then you can shorten it and you wouldn't sound as choppy because you're only shortening it, you're not trying to make it short. So I think writing it as at least the speech as a novel is way easier than writing any kind of script for a comic book.
Um, Most of my projects, I wrote a novel way, like like
Nice.
you said. So,
Yeah.
when I go
They
back
say read it
and
out loud. I've heard that tip. If you write something for speech, if you say it out loud, like read it out loud, you can see how it sounds being spoken, and you can see if it sounds choppy or not.
like I don't wrote just like you have, and uh, what's off my train of thought? Yeah, when I go back to make the script for comics, like one I wrote it out and I said, okay, this can be an issue, that could be an issue, right? Then I go back and do the script. Particularly one issue, I thought it was gonna be this long issue and action packed. But since I'm writing the details of all the scenes, it took what 3 or 4 pages. But in comic, it's probably like 3 or 4 panels. So
Yeah. Yeah. What is it? A picture's worth 1,000 words.
yeah, so I'm
So
describing
it's
the
very
whole fight
accurate.
scene, what's going on, and it just got shrunken down. I was like, man, I got to write more stuff to fill this issue out. Cause
Pretty much 10,000 words is one issue when I write. It's about 28 pages for 10,000 words. That's how it's seems to measure out.
all right, yeah, okay. I mean, I haven't counted my word count in my issues, like I said, I'm writing a novel, and I try and do. Forgot my
So
camera too.
you actually write it like you don't type it?
Yeah, I got notebooks on notebooks.
You're
You know,
crazy.
yeah, it's easy. Look, it's easy. Like so many notebooks.
Yeah,
Uh,
wow, look at that. You know, you can scan those in now.
yeah, yeah. My phone does it. My phone actually does it. Like my camera
Really?
function, it will block in the words,
Yeah.
and I actually can copy it and put it in my notes app and go to the
How
computer.
accurate is it?
I haven't tried on handwriting, but on like image, it's pretty good.
Nice.
Like if I screenshot this right now, I can do chill on the green box right there, and I can pull it right off the image.
Nice.
Just speaking of that, I was also put on a thing with what's it called? Chat CPT or whatever it's called.
Yep.
And I mean, there's people are using that to do stories now. And if you have a block on, let's say, a scene in your book, you can put my character this and third was da, or you can copy what you already wrote inside of it and tell them to change it into a sci-fi scene, and it would do it. And I thought that was
I heard that. I've never used it, but yeah, I heard that.
yeah. I want to try it out, but the
You
traffic's
might
so
get
high on it.
addicted to it.
Huh?
Yeah. You might get addicted to it. You'd be like, oh, it sounds good.
Yeah, but I didn't like that Midjourney Dream, Midjourney, whatever the
I heard about that. The
the
AI
image.
art, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. You gotta, I guess you put in what you want, but it seems like you gotta put too much in to make that image. When I can just
Yeah.
tell artists, hey, draw this, and they draw in the next day or
It's
so.
very soulless. I would never use AI, especially compared to an artist. I mean, an artist, and it's way more expensive, so I can understand a writer wanting to use it, because it took me a long time to find an artist. So I can understand wanting to use it, but nothing beats having a real artist. I mean, he's part of the team, he comes up with ideas and he does the panels and everything. He comes up with what happens next with the panels. So yeah, I've seen the art and it just looks so generic, lifeless.
What was your struggles to find an artist? What took so long?
Ugh, man, I spent so much money and so much time because I could not find an artist that fit the vision of what the characters look like in my head, So like I would keep trying and get character designs and script pages and just never anything looked right. And then this artist came along and like instantaneously I love the way it looked and I hired him right away. So it took a couple of months and a couple thousands of bucks, but it finally worked. Yeah.
So, what issue is coming out now that people be prepared to get on your Kickstarter?
So right now, it's issue 6. It's the last issue of a fight with our subspecies of vampires called Clotters. They're a little bit more ruthless than regular vampires. Their heart beats every 6 hours, which is just enough to keep off rigor mortis. So they have very thick, clotted blood, which makes them stronger. But it also means that they need more protein. So they have to feed directly from a human. Or they decompose like a zombie. So they can't feed from a blood bag. You can't feed from animals. So the problem with that is a lot of people, when they are turned into these Clotters, they still have their souls and their conscience. So they would have to feed off of a human or decompose. So it made it very tough for the species to survive because a lot of them wouldn't want to kill humans. So they wound up changing more ruthless people like, serial killers and sociopath and murderers and convicts and stuff. So a lot of them are way more ruthless. And if they taste your blood or bite you, they can find you anywhere you go, like a homing beacon. And if you kill one of them in the family, then they will come after you for revenge. So in 4 and 5, that's exactly what happened. They wound up killing one, and now they had to go hunt them all down before they would come after them. So 6 is them trying to hunt them down and stop them from following them or finding them wherever they go.
Okay. And in this Kickstarter, can we go back and get issues 1 through 5, or do you have like a volume collection of it?
So in 6, in issue 6, yes, we have back issues. So you can actually get, we have different tiers, and one of the tiers, you can actually just get issue 1 if you want to, both the PDF or the printed, or you can get the current issue, and then as an add-on, all the back issues are there, all the variants, all the PDFs, everything back issue wise is in the add-ons that you can get, so everyone can catch up. We also have catch-up tiers, which is actually one of my most popular tiers. You can get 1 through 6 PDF, or 1 through 6 printed, or 1 through 6 metal covers, and then you can have the whole caught up.
Okay, that's cool. All right, well, that's all the questions I got for that segment. I think it was my last segment, the show. It's called Digging the Crates. In comics, it's a double meaning term, but in comics, it's you dig in for them key issues I was talking about earlier. You dig in the crates, find certain things that you grew up with. You want to collect for nostalgia reasons. Also in music, same way, you digging on same crates for them vinyls, on CDs and whatnot. So I can dig through this interview and pull out something so we can leave off on a great note. You was talking about games and movies earlier. If you had, let's say, Big Millionaire, or you was on Shark Tank or whatever, and they picked your project up, they offer you some kind of production for your project or your book series. Would you want it to be a video game, or movie, live action, or animated?
I would want a rated R animated series. I think that it would fit the art. I think it would you could do more things when it's animated than you could in a show. Also, I'm very picky on how they look, and actors can quit and get old, and and all that stuff. So I would definitely prefer an animated series. Though a video game is not bad because it's a survival adventure horror, so it would actually be a very good video game. But animated movie first, or animated series first, and then we could do it. We could do a video game.
What studio would you pick on animated?
Oh, not Disney. They own everything.
They did pretty good on that What If, on the Marvel the Zombies episode.
Yeah, they did. But I don't like. They would want to buy it, and I don't want to sell it. I want to control it. So I don't even know if Netflix does that. I think Netflix buys it too. Probably some independent thing that is up and coming but hasn't been found yet.
Okay.
That, is somewhat low budget, but not because my artist, this is his first paid job, and this is my first comic, and I'd like to get somebody that's new, and wants to prove themselves, because they try harder than anyone else. Like Netflix doesn't try anymore. Prime doesn't try. Disney stopped trying a while ago. But I haven't seen the What If series, but I do want to. I heard that the What If was really good. Because I like What If. That was my favorite comic strip, like the comic back in the day, the What If. I love those.
That episode I said was so good. It's getting its own series. and What If, yeah.
What's
so
the What If? What If what?
So it was a Marvel Zombies, the series that the Walking Dead guy did, Robert Kirkman, I guess.
Yeah.
Did for Marvel back in the day, where they did a animate version of it with the MCU cast, so the Tom Holland and all them. So it was that episode was the Zombies, but it had other ones like what if T'Challa became Star-Lord instead of Black Panther?
I love What If.
What was the other ones? What if I think Doctor Strange, like, what if that girl had died in a car wreck instead of him messing his hands up?
I've always loved I remember What If series. There was one, What If Felicia Hardy married Spider-Man instead of MJ? What if Barbara Ketch became Ghost Rider instead of Danny? Yeah, I don't remember any ones. What are the other ones? I
It
think it was
hasn't
what
been
if
no,
Grayson became
yeah, it
that.
hasn't
No,
been any, no good ones recently. Not really. They did like a Miles Morales what ifs, like a whole bunch of him being different kind of characters, like Wolverine and the Hulk. Uh, but it was never no good ones. Like only what if thing they pulled was doing the Venom thing. They had they gave everybody who came in contact with the symbiote, they actually became a host for Venom. So like
oh,
went
like
went back
Carnage.
all yeah, so went back all the way to like I guess the Thing had some encounter with it, like back on
Oh,
Secret Wars. So like all through there. So like each person like it was a storyline. They used to brought it to a storyline during the Noel event that since they was all had encounters with it, they had to get killed. Like Captain America, I guess something happened like World War I with it, World War II with it. So yeah, it was crazy.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. But
And,
that's the
and
show. Great having you on. So of course, your Kickstarter get ready to launch. People gonna look out for that.
yeah, the best thing to do is to for anyone that wants to learn anything else about it is to look up Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter. There's links everywhere, but Worthy Chaos were the only thing that pops up. And we also have a Facebook group called Worthy Chaos and Twitter at Worthy_Chaos. And we tweet out lots of things that are coming and pages and covers and all that stuff. So that's the best way to keep up to date on Worthy Chaos.
Cool. And
Thanks for
once
having me
again,
on.
yeah, thanks for coming on. Sorry about the trouble ahead of time and
Yeah,
my co-host not showing up, but hey,
it worked out. It's all good.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. I think if you wet his pants somewhere or whatever, he's just so scary. But shout out to my guest, Corissa. Great creator, great guest or whatever. Check out her series, Word of Chaos, in all its forms. Make sure you check her out. Get it. Sound like a great project. I'm looking into it. But if you want to look into my co-host and his books, go look up Legacy to View or legacyteview.com to purchase it. You want to follow me at Specks706. And you want to be on the show, hit us up at ChillingGreenBox on social media or hit us up at ChillingGreenBox@gmail.com. And I'm out.